The World Council of Churches Central Committee continues its work in Geneva and the Ecumenical Center. This afternoon we have with us Reverend Dr. Harold Hunter from the International Pentecostal Holiness Church from the US. Harold, you have a very long experience with the ecumenical relations between the Pentecostal churches in general, the ecumenical movement, I would say, and the WCC. Are you able to share with our audience some information, historical information, I would say, about this relation, and also specific information about the joint consultative group between the WCC and the Pentecostals?
One of the things that I wish folks who are outside our tradition understood is that we're a so-called young church. Most of our churches see themselves as less than 150 years old. So in those early years, they were trying to find their way. They were trying to get their footing. They had a vision about trying to take the message, the saving message of Jesus, to the world. It was something that they were very earnest about, very passionate. In those early years, they tried to find ways to do that together, but it didn't work out as well as they had hoped. And eventually, as they started to mature and they grew and they became more stable in other various parts of the world, then they started looking at organizations that would bring them together, not just with people in our own tradition, but with other traditions. Specifically with the World Council of Churches, it was Latin America and Africa that stepped forward first. They joined the World Council of Churches in the 1960s. So they have been the safeguard for our community because they've shown that you could be a Pentecostal, you could be part of the World Council of Churches, you could fellowship with all of the folks that come here, and it only make sure your ministry better. Now, when it came to the joint consultative group, a lot of people didn't know what to expect, but for our community, it's been a wake-up call. It's been a motivation to help them learn how to engage with the World Council. So we still have a long ways to go. We have a lot of things to learn, but we're grateful to God that the World Council has been receptive to us and given us a place at the table.
Global Christianity is moving, constantly changing. Let's say that we want to discuss at this stage a bit in depth also the global challenges for the Pentecostal churches around the world. Could you share with us the one or two most important issues for the Pentecostal churches right now in the world?
One of the things that all of the Pentecostals have in common, I believe, is that they all believe that they have a responsibility to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with anybody that they come in contact with. And some of them take that literally. Now, our tradition has been very adamant about that, very passionate about it. The flip side of that, from my vantage point, is we have a hard time doing it together. We have a hard time appreciating other communities. We have a hard time respecting other people who are there before us and the cross that they bore, the sacrifice that they made, the people who gave up their lives. We go in sometimes and we think that we're the first to bring the message there. That is not to our honor that we have done that. I hope we're growing. I hope that the World Council of Churches will help us better understand the world around us and our responsibility and how we can be a responsible member of that community.
Very strong messages, Reverend Hunter. Thank you so very much for your time with us.